We'll wait for Dan. Here we go.
All right, we are live, everybody. TD Report here. David Combs here in the Gaithersburg office. Got TK, Tony Kennedy. You're out at the casino, right, buddy? You ready to go?
At the casino, baby.
And
Every
our man
Thursday
in the
night.
Midwest, Jody Coleman. Hey, Jody, you're getting ready to make this trip, right?
Oh yeah.
So when do you fly out for the what's that, Notre Dame and Cal, right?
Actually, I'm a drive up. It's only about 4 hours away from me, so
Okay, so you're gonna drive it. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna drive up Friday night. Already been doing some research on the Notre Dame and Cal game. It's a must win for Notre Dame right now. They're going into 0-2. They're 0-2. You know, the surprising loss last week to Marshall. Cal's coming in at 2-0. Cal's coming in 2-0. They just had a victory over UNLV, 20-14 at home, a very close one. So this is going to be a statement game because Marcus has yet to win a game yet. He's 0-2 in the regular season. He's 0-1 in the bowl game. And 0-3 would be, I think they would definitely be hitting the panic button in Notre Dame if you don't pull this one out.
And you know, as we start on the TD Report today, we're talking a little college football with Jody Coleman, who's going to cover a pretty substantial game in college football as far as the landscape of the sport. We've got images and likeness deals. We've got coaches making up to $8 to $9 million in like a Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney. And now we've got a situation where a young black coach takes a very high-profile job, probably the highest-profile job in all of college sport. I would put the Notre Dame job up there with Duke basketball, UNC basketball. It's one of the top jobs in the sport, period. Okay? And 3 games in, potentially, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Shane Hilliard? 3 games in, he is on the hot seat. Okay, thanks, DK. Say hello to the bad guy. That's right, DK. So what does this say about the landscape of college sports, Tony? You've got a young black coach taking over a very high-profile job. It's not that he's not qualified. It's the landscape of the sport is what's killing some of these younger coaches. What do you think, Tony?
He doesn't want to be Tyrone Willingham Part 2, 2.0. It's a lot of pressure on those dudes. I think that was a trap game because they played Ohio State so tough. So, you know, that's what I think. I mean,
do you think they thought they were better than they actually were, Tony?
Yeah, because of the way they played Ohio State, which is probably the best team in the country. And the way they played Ohio State, you couldn't tell me what team was ranked high until the 4th quarter of that game. I mean, really, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So that confidence level coming home probably gave them a little bit. And you know what? I want to tell everybody, like everybody said, be cool, pump your brakes. But I want to say this. It's all in the air. Jody is from Dayton. The head coach is from Dayton. Jody's going to be covering his first game. It's probably on the line that all the people from Dayton following Jody, following Coach, and he's going to get his first win with everybody there, which would be great. I mean, because he needs it. And to be honest, African-American coaches, they're rare. So
it's tough.
We need them to kind of survive so that you can get more in the door. And so more of these guys can see that so that they can stop trying to just think that they can only make it in playing. I mean, this guy is carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders, man. I mean, he got a lot of people. So, I mean, it's
you can't coach just on emotion. You can't coach just on, you know, your reputation. Okay. It's some of the toughest coaching that there is to take over a program like a Notre Dame, and you're trying to literally turn it on a dime. Now, I will say this, Coach Freeman has not made his own schedule. Okay. He's been given this schedule by the previous coaching staff. This is Brian Kelly's schedule. So those schedules, as everybody knows in college sports, they're made sometimes 4 to 6 years in advance as far as getting the contract signed for what teams are coming onto your schedule, your traditional opponents, and the ones that are coming off of their contract and coming out. We saw this in college basketball with Georgetown and Syracuse. When Georgetown and Syracuse went their separate ways in terms of conference play, that rivalry that the two of them had was a possible where, hey, this rivalry is going to run out. Do we want to renew it? Does Syracuse want to renew it? Does Georgetown want to renew it? And it takes away from the sport. Okay, so as Notre Dame, as the athletic director, Notre Dame has to make that picking decision and make the right decisions, not just for the money, because that's the other problem, not just for the money, but for the health of the program. Are we playing teams in areas where, out of conference teams where we need to recruit? So we need to physically be there with our staff in their state, in their region, and show them there, hey, we're going to be in the region. We're not just here for one game. We're going to be here periodically. This stuff fascinates me, Tony. As we talk about college, and this is an ongoing discussion that we have. Joe, we definitely look forward to hearing from you on your reporting on what you see on the ground. Definitely go live and tag us so that we can get involved, during the day on Saturday. I'm going to be out and about. My son's got a scrimmage, but I definitely want to hear what you've got to say. And I just want your impressions of what you see and hear while you're there. You're really good in the crowd, and you never know who you're going to bump into, man. If you see Tim Brown or someone like that, definitely grab him or whatever. Hopefully he could be out there wearing them skinny jeans like Chris Carter was. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what, Dave? I talked to Tony offline, and we talked about this yesterday morning. And I'm a true believer of, I don't care what level of football you playing, from Pee-wee up to the professional level. If you can run the ball and you can stop the run, you have a great chance to win. So when I look at Notre Dame right now, Notre Dame is struggling to run the football. As a team, they have 67 carries for 206 yards, which is 3.6 yards per carry. That's not going to win many games. No. And then when you look at the defensive side of the ball, they struggle with stopping the run. They only have 4 sacks, and they have 0 turnovers in the first 2 games. So Notre Dame, to be competitive against this Cal team, let's not overlook them, because they are 2-0. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame is going to have to find a way to establish the running game, because guess who their leading rusher is? The quarterback that got hurt. Yeah. He has 62 yards rushing, and he's no longer going to be there for at least 4 weeks. So they're going to have to get running back by committee, and their actual starting running back is going to have to really put up some numbers. They got that sophomore running back. He only has about 58 yards rushing, and I think they're going to have to find a way to sustain that and sustain a nice running game to keep Notre Dame defense off the field, and they're going to have to score, and the quarterback is going to have to make plays in opportune times. And that's, that's the analysis I got before the game even starts. What's going on?
Hey, Cody. Man. All right, great. We got Cody Bennett on the show. Cody, you're in our Miami office. Cody, listen, we're going to shift gears a little bit. And by the way, thanks for that, Jody. Great stuff. Let's shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more pro ball today. Cody is our fantasy guru, but also he watches a lot of film. So if you can get Tommy or Dev to get on the show with you, that's great. But let's just start with you, Cody. What are the general themes that you saw this weekend? What was one of the big themes for you?
You're breaking up just a bit, Dave.
Oh.
I didn't get that one.
That's right. Yeah. What were some of the main themes that you saw this week? The big storyline.
I don't know. I will say there was a lot of surprises when it came to players who, what the media has been saying for weeks, wasn't expecting to do well, and I think a lot of players did. I think there was some surprises, and I mean, as far as fantasy, there's a lot on the table that you can go out there and grab to win you some leagues right now too. Some injuries brought some people down. Some showings of how offenses are going to move. What's up, DK? Also, kind of laid the land for some running backs and who might be getting some catches out of the backfield. So there's a lot of potential options in the waiver wires this week. That could definitely help a team big time when it comes to fantasy.
On the fantasy tip, let's talk about the home team. Rookie wide receiver out of Penn State for the Washington Commanders, Jahan Dotson.
Yeah,
he had a great coming out party. That's the way to show up for home fans, man. He looked great.
Speaking of Washington rookies, I don't know if you guys just saw that tweet that I had sent you guys in the group chat, but it's Brian Robinson already doing ladder drills on the field, looking
good. Crisp, that's amazing.
Shot in the leg twice. I mean, surprisingly crisp. If you get a second, check that out after this. It's pretty. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do something for you guys.
So we've got video on that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
my
amazing.
God, look at that.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Well, listen, I don't care if you're a fan of the Commanders or not. That's amazing to see. I mean, this guy I'm just glad he's alive. I mean, frankly. And, the fact that he almost had his pro career or his life taken away from him, and he's able to get it back. And he's literally, I don't think he's going to miss a beat, guys. I think when he hits the field, he's just going to start playing ball, man. I like the way he looked this preseason.
They're projecting week 5 is when he'll be healthy. I don't think they'll play him until about week 7.
That's fine.
I do think he'll be back on the field before midseason, if not, after at midseason for sure.
One thing I will say about him, just in general, just from some of the videos that I've seen, just from the air about this young man, he's likable. People like him. And, you're in a locker room, with 60 other guys or whatever. You don't have to be everybody's best friend. But if you're the type of person that walks into that room and people generally like you, they'll follow you. You see what I'm saying? You can be led and you can lead people. I think that bodes well for Washington. And listen, kudos to the Washington front office, for making use of those draft picks, being able to make that deal and get the picks back and be able to make this value pick. What did they pick him up? He's a 4th rounder?
Yeah.
4th rounder, 5th round?
Yeah, because we got Sam in the 5th.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot of quality out of that spot. And listen, in previous years, in a previous era, a guy like this would go in the 1st or 2nd round. He's a running back, and you're getting him in the 4th or the 5th. He's literally going to be the bell cow, and you're going to have a 2-headed monster back there with Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons that he went in that range was just simply because of the lack of need of running back for teams that were picking before. I mean, there's a lot of running backs already in the league. There's a lot that were moving around. There's a decent amount on the waiver wire. I think a lot of teams weren't ready to take a jump on another rookie running back, especially so soon within a 1st or 3rd round pick. That's why you saw a lot of them going. I mean, I think the first running back on the board was the last pick of the draft, no? I mean, the last pick of the round.
Yeah. So something I wanted to do on the show, and I'm going to talk about it more when we get Tommy and Dev involved. X's and O's or Jimmys and Joes. In the NFL, it comes down to not just X's and O's, but do I have the best player in this position in this matchup? Do I have the better guy? Right? My guy wins the battle more often than yours. Is it X's and O's or Jimmys and Joes as to why Jahan Dotson has been able to come in and pick up 2 touchdown passes right out of the gate? Was that schemed, or is it because he can play?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the scheming, and Scott Turner came out today in practice with some answers to some questions, and he was not happy with how they played as far as executing what he had drawn up. He's obviously happy with the win, but he says that there was a lot of things that were not done properly. But I don't think that had any effect on Dotson. I think he ran great routes. I think the fact of him just being good is why he can create so much separation and be open. And in the NFL, separation is key. You can be the biggest body in the world, but if you can't get away from that defender, it's going to be hard for that quarterback to trust throwing that ball to you. So I think his separation made him key to be looked at that game. But on top of it, Terry McLaurin was getting schemed almost out of the game. I mean, he had very few catches, if any at all, up until halftime. He had the good touchdown grab on the right side towards the end of the game, or end of the 3rd quarter. Maybe even 4th, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But regardless, he was covered, which is going to leave somebody else open. And in that offense, as you saw how it turned out that game, that turned it up being Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson. Curtis Samuel, I think, had 11 to 12 targets. I mean, there was the other guys got a lot of work that game. I think the way that Jacksonville tried to play it was don't let Terry beat you and let the other guys beat you. But the problem with Washington now is they have some serious talent outside of Terry McLaurin for pass catchers. And you got to cover them all, or Dotson's going to do that every game.
I thought the move down near the goal line out of the slot, he looked very savvy there. Put his foot in the dirt, froze the defender, and was able to break inside of the guy. And at that point, the ball was coming out. He knows where the ball is going.
I do want to credit, though, Carson Wentz on that pass in the end
zone
because that was a hell of a pass right where it needed to be, and Dotson still pulled it down. But that was perfectly over the shoulder for him. I mean, the pass couldn't have been any more catchable for him. I think he deserves a little bit of credit of putting that ball where it needed to be for him to make that grab, because that was just overall on the same page.
What do you think, Jody?
You know what? And I watched some of the Commander game myself. I pretty much watch all the 1:00 games. I watch pretty much every game I can watch. And the beauty of the Commanders, and this is what I have to give y'all credit for, is y'all drafted well this year. Y'all potentially have a triplet set of Sam Howell, Robertson, and Dotson. Those all the guys y'all got in this draft. Not to mention, you still got Terry, you still got Gibson. Gibson, I think when Robertson gets back, Gibson is going to be even more dangerous because you can put him in a slot position. You can run whatever you want to run with that guy, as long as he hangs on to the football.
Yeah, I said that when we drafted him. I said Brian Robinson is the help that Antonio Gibson has needed since he came to Washington. I mean, since he got to Washington, that's the help that he needed ever since he came in. I mean, Jared Patterson's good, but he's not the backup you want to take the weight off of the shoulders. Brian Robinson is that guy, if not ahead of him, and Gibby be the guy taking the weight off the shoulders.
Right. And then you got Curtis Samuels, that's Ohio State guy that finally is healthy, and that guy can fly. So, I mean, now you go from a team that was kind of like the laughing stock of the NFC East to now you're looking at like almost pick your poison on the weapons that they have. So if Carson Wentz can continue to play like he has, a couple of bonehead plays, the interception on the screen pass, if he can avoid that. But once again, Carson Wentz does what Carson Wentz does. Yeah. If he can avoid that, Commanders could actually be a problem.
He admitted it in that press conference too. As soon as they asked him what he thought about that play, he said, "I definitely should have dirted the ball." And those are decisions he'll have to make as he gels with it. I mean, you would think by his experience in the league, he should know something like that, but it's a first debut game with the team. I think he's hyped to make some plays. I'm not going to knock him too much for some mistakes if we still get that done, as long as they don't keep happening.
Listen,
let's give credit.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let's give credit to the first pick of the draft, Trayvon Walker. He made an interception on that play, and he had a sack. He had 4 solo tackles. So, yeah, Carson Wentz should have probably dirted it, but let's give some credit to how athletic that guy is and how he makes it.
He's a beast.
That's number 44, right?
Yeah, he gave him trouble all game.
Oh, no, let me tell you something. Guys, there might be 5 linebackers in the league that can make that play. Peel off of read a screen, peel off of a screen, and make a catch on a football that was thrown below the waist. Okay? Right. He caught that and behind him. And returned it, 20 yards?
Yeah.
that was, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of those where, if you're playing baseball and you pitch around everybody else and you pitch around Juan Soto and then the next guy hits it out, hey, just take your cap off. Hey, I did everything I could do. This guy, if you throw him the football like that, 9 times out of 10, most guys in the league are dropping that pass. But yes, Wentz was right. He should have thrown it into the dirt. But at this point, if you're a quarterback and you come off that bootleg or you come out trying to set that screen up, if 44 is anywhere in the vicinity, you cannot let that football go. You just can't throw it up. This guy's hands were incredible.
Right.
I mean, that was a great play. It was one of the best plays of the week.
First pick of the draft, and maybe Jacksonville saw some because when we was at the draft, Tony can tell you it was a lot of question marks when that pick was made. And everybody was kind of shaking their head, including myself, like, oh, why are they taking this guy? And he's showing immediate impact. And now you got him on one side, and you got Josh Allen on the other side, and you got Doug Peterson. Jacksonville will be fine. Maybe not this season, but they will be fine in the years to come.
If they can look, they left a lot of points out there on the field. There were plays. Trevor Lawrence had plays to be made. He's got to put the football on some guys. He missed some passes. I'm giving him the mulligan for last year. I thought last year was a joke. This is his rookie year. And Peterson is basically going to have to rip him down to the studs and build him back up as a pro quarterback. He's got to start from scratch. But as far as the accuracy is concerned, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get more accurate, and again, this is only his second season, it's not going to be good for him.
I don't want to cut you off, Dave, but just before lineups lock for tonight, I want to give anybody watching some fantasy advice. If you're looking for somebody to plug and play, since Keenan Allen's going to be out, Josh Palmer's a good pick, but I'm sure he's probably been grabbed. Look at DeAndre Carter. DeAndre Carter was not there when Palmer was getting all of that work when Keenan was out last year. DeAndre Carter got 5 looks last week with a touchdown and 64 yards. I think he's a great add to that offense. And if you need somebody to get in, I guarantee you he's probably available on waivers. Put him in for a flex play. Put him in. He's going to get some work tonight.
Excellent. Let's talk about the game tonight. I'm sorry. I keep stepping on you, Jody. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, Cody, that was a good selection right there.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of the kid. I wish he was still in Washington, but
Washington fans know who he is. There's probably some Washington people grabbing him. So, what do we think about tonight's game, Tony? We've got San Diego. LA Chargers. I love San Diego.
It's gonna be a good game right here. This might be a playoff. A decent preview here.
This is a divisional. This could be either a divisional preview. This could be either a preview of a divisional, or this could be a preview of an AFC championship game.
I was the first person to pick those guys to be in my Super Bowl with the Cards. Now let me tell you.
Remember we were talking about this the week before. We were talking about this the week before, and he wasn't big on Herbert. He called me and tried to tell me I robbed his picks. I said I was just talking about it last week.
I think that Kansas City is going to roll through them hard tonight. Reason being is that they have a whole bunch of new receivers.
Kansas City don't have a kicker.
And it's too hard to key on one guy right now until they start getting more film. Now, Kansas City will slow down once they get more film on how they're using each receiver. But right now, all we know is Kansas City with a one-trick pony and then the best tight end in football. Now they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's hard.
They got a defense over there in San Diego.
Dude.
Yeah, this is going to be San Diego plays good defense tonight. I think they've got a good chance to win.
Y'all keep calling San Diego.
LA.
San Diego chicken, man.
Fish tacos, man. Some fish tacos.
I moved them to London and Madden.
Listen.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm going to put it like this. And everybody keeps talking about the Chargers. I'm still not big on the Chargers. Like I said, I'm looking at some numbers. Justin Herbert has started 33 games. He is 16-17 in those games. He is yet to play in the playoffs. We have anointed Justin Herbert as the next coming of Peyton Manning, and I see the body of work. If you look at the numbers, he has the most 3 touchdown games in a 33-game span.
Let me drop this into you, Jody. He's got the most touchdown passes, which is 69 through the first 2 seasons of a career in NFL history. The most passing yards through the first 2 seasons of NFL history, which is 9,350. Most completions through the first 2 seasons of NFL history, which is 339. And the Chargers single-season passing record of 38 touchdowns, passing yards 5,014 in a season, and completions of 443. If that doesn't potential,
Cody, he won't have the most for the first 3 seasons because that's skewed because Patrick Mahomes didn't play the first season. And he had 50. He almost had what he had in 2 seasons. Patrick Mahomes almost had 1 season.
But see, I'm going to rebuttal to Cody, if I may. Cody. I love stats. And Cody, I love that you know this because I love stats. And that's amazing. But like I said, if you put a picture of a quarterback and how they're supposed to look, you will see Justin Herbert in there. I mean, he's big, he's tall, he got a strong arm, he's mobile. But what happens when can you win the game? Are you winning football games?
He will win the games.
We're going to see tonight.
He's right now. No, he ain't winning tonight.
He's 16-17. I'm looking at numbers. I studied this. He's 16-17 as a starter in 33 starts. So my thing is you're putting him above quarterback. Let me give you a little stat of some guys that got drafted with him. Joe Burrow, already been to a Super Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa is 14-8 as a starter.
Got better win percentage.
And he hasn't even played but 22 games. So Tua Tagovailoa, who we put more pressure on, and we're saying that Tua can't get it done, and Tua ain't this. I want anybody to compare Tua's numbers up to this point up to Drew Brees.
I'm a Tua fan. I've been a Tua fan since day one. That's
your boy.
I got Tua winning that division this year over the Bills.
Stop, Tony. Look at Tony. Though.
Tony,
Cody, look
Tony,
at Tony.
He's on a rookie deal. He ain't stealing money yet.
Yeah, he is, because he's living in Miami. He's living in Miami with all that money.
Joke,
I'm
man.
not messing with Tua.
That defense is no joke in Miami.
I call him poor.
What Tony? What else do you want this man to do? This man is winning football games. His completion percentage is over 66, which is more than Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. So
he's not better than Joe Burrow.
His numbers are.
I'm going with the guys that were drafted in the class with him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll say this about Herbo. He has compiled a lot of stats. He just ain't compiled a lot of wins yet.
Now, Dave, why is he compiling stats? Cody, why is he? Because they're always down. They're always losing.
And wait a minute. How do you, if you want your quarterback to get W's, if you want him to get W's, how do you get him the wins? Is you pound that running game. You pound that running game, and that's how you win him games. That's how it wins games at the end when you're up 6. When you're up 6 with 4 minutes to play. You are throwing the freaking football. You should be running the ball and shortening the game. That's how you do it.
I know you don't like Brandon Staley, Jody, but
I don't.
He had a great piece on running the ball and how it brings a different element to football, because it requires. I mean, on the pass, running the ball requires people to block and requires you to tackle. It requires you to do those two things, which brings a level of physicality to the play, right, which you need to have in order to bring that energy on the play. Just passing the ball. The defense you're playing is not required to tackle, and not really required to block in any way, or offense, whatever, you know what I mean. But it brings that level of physicality that you need in order to win a game. And yeah, I mean, running is key. I mean, if you ain't got a running back, I mean, you look at the Bills, and that's why I don't think the Bills are going to do much this year. They keep sticking with Singletary, and he has proven time and time again that he is not the guy. But they're going to keep sticking with him and feeding him the ball. And they still got Zach Moss behind them, who really also isn't. But I don't know, man. I think that's going to be one of their big downfalls. Because
you see Cook fumble on his first carry against the Rams. People don't remember that was their first running back selected.
I got Chargers tonight.
He got Chargers.
Yeah, I got KC. Hey, DK, I got KC all the way.
I got KC also tonight.
But yeah, Tony, Dave, and Cody.
I got Chargers by 2 possessions.
I put it like this, and I'm gonna continue this. I'm an old school guy. I'm 44 years old. I'm an old man, and I remember the days of the '80s when you had a good running game. The New York Giants, the Washington Redskins, when they were the Redskins, when the Denver Broncos, when those teams were winning football games. The Dallas Cowboys, they ran the ball and they stopped the run until the Chargers come up with that. I like Austin Eckler, but he's a third down back. Because he's really relatively a bona fide third down back. And they got him being a featured guy. I think Sony Michel should be the featured guy, and you need to use Austin Eckler like a third down back. And I think that
I don't like Sony at all, man.
Hey, look, man, he's been passed around like a bag of stale potato chips, man.
If you don't give me between Eckler and
he got 2 Super Bowls.
I'm taking Eckler.
He got 2 Super Bowls.
You got 2 Super Bowls.
I don't know, man.
I don't
know. There's something not right about him, man. Something not kosher. I don't know if he's. What does he have left? I mean,
matter of fact, I'm taking Isaiah Spiller over Sony.
Now I like Isaiah Spiller.
I like him. Nice. That I'll go with. You know, I look at the Chargers and I say to myself, why aren't they winning more games? Okay, and I really feel as though they're trying to play. I think they're playing checkers when they should be playing chess. I think once they get themselves in a position where they're up 14 points.
Hey, I got to jump, guys.
You're out?
All right, Cody.
Hey, I got to jump. Good talking to you. Hey,
thanks,
remember,
Cody.
Everybody listening, go grab DeAndre Carter, plug him into your lineups tonight.
Cody will be on Monday night with the fantasy to set your
I'll give you Monday night.
Yeah, Cody will be back Monday, everybody.
Hey, Cody, I'm going to call you offline tomorrow.
Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah. Thanks,
all
Cody.
Right.
So to my point, Jody, what I would say is this. If you're the Chargers and you say to yourself, hey, we've had leads in the fourth quarter. We've been up 10, 14, whatever. You've got to start bleeding some clock. You've got to be able to be effective and play against those short boxes because you throw the freaking ball so much. You've got the matchup. You should be able to run against that. You should be able to run against the 6 or 7 man box.
Right.
If you cannot do that in this league, why do you have offensive linemen? And if you can't, get an offensive line coach in there that can get your guys to that second level and give your running backs the room.
And you know what, Dave, to make it so bad is they went and got a premier left tackle in Rashard Slater. This guy ended up being all-pro in his first year. So they have a good offensive line, but as long as Brandon Staley is the head coach making these analytical plays, and Tony played at the highest level. He played at the highest level, and he played running back at the highest level. You know how important it is to run the football. And until they get that philosophy, and me and Tony been talking back and forth all day. He said the reason why this team right here, my Browns, has a good opportunity is the way that we run the football.
Look, when I was in college, we had Herman Moore was our top wide receiver. If we were up 14 in the fourth quarter, you were going to see a lot of Terry Kirby. We weren't going to fool around and throw the football like that. George Wells felt that's how you lose games. He wanted to be in a position where I'm going to run Terry Kirby at you for the whole fourth quarter and see if you can deal with that. I'm going to let you give it Roberts at left tackle. You can have some of that. But I'm not putting the football up. This is how some of these teams' mentality has to change. It's real pretty to throw the football around, Tony. It's gorgeous. Everyone loves it.
Beautiful.
2 or 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. Why are we still throwing the football? Why are we not shortening this game?
Only team that can get away with that is the Kansas City Chiefs. If you look at any other team, if you look at all these young coaches that's supposed to be these analytical coaches, they have coached their way out of victories. Just this weekend, we saw Zach Taylor coach himself out of a victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers. When he knew Jamar, and me and Tony talked about this too, Jamar Chase caught that touchdown pass. But what he thought he was going to do, because the ball was on the 1 yard line, he thought he had 4 downs to score. He was going to bleed the clock. That's what he thought. He could not score. And then Pittsburgh had a more seasoned quarterback in Mitch Trubisky that can make plays. Cincinnati would have never got the ball back. Am I right or wrong? They'll never got the ball back. So they got lucky with the second opportunity. But Zach Taylor goes into this new era of coaches, and you got your Brandon Staley's of the world, and you got your guy Hackett, the coach for the Denver Broncos. All those coaches coached themselves out of victory.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna. I used to drive the Russell Wilson bandwagon in Denver. We probably should talk about what happened there. Why do you pay all that money to a quarterback to bring him in, and you're not going to give him a shot to win you the game? I didn't understand that. I thought that was just bad. I just thought that was a bad look on Hackett's part. What was it? 35 seconds left. You have the football and 3 timeouts.
Right.
And you're trying to get.
I am. I'm at live.
You've got to. What's that?
No, I was just responding.
Oh, okay.
I was telling them I'm at Maryland. Sorry.
You've got to be able to give him 1 or 2 more shots. What was it? A 4th and 5?
Yeah, that's not undoable.
You got. You know what? At that point, just let him try. Just let him get you a first down, and then you've got your 3 timeouts.
And Dave, they lost anyway. So if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with the ball in Russell Wilson's hands. But what I'm seeing here, Dave, and what I'm seeing here, Tony, is that these coaches are trying to be the faces of the franchise instead of letting their quarterbacks be the face of these franchises. Hackett wanted to look like he was a genius. Because guess what? If they hit that 64-yard field goal, we're talking about how good a job Hackett did at the end of the game. But now we're talking about poor clock management, not letting Russ cook. You paid this man $250+ million to get to kick the ball. How much are you paying your kicker? How much are you paying that kicker? Tony, how much are you paying that kicker?
Oh, and he missed twice.
Twice. And I'm sorry I'm coming a little
That's
bit
what makes it worse. He missed twice.
These new age coaches are starting to, it's like this trend. I get it. Cliff Kingsbury. I'm sorry.
Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona.
You got Brandon Staley. You got Zach. Yeah, Zach Taylor got an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. That's wonderful.
Everyone trying to be Sean McVay.
They want to be Sean McVay. They want to be innovative like this young. But I'm telling you, if you got these veteran guys, if you stop the run and you run the football, as you can see, we're getting further and further away from actual bell cow running backs. How many bell cow running backs do we have in this league? Probably about 4 or 5, maybe. Derrick Henry, maybe Dalvin Cook, maybe.
They throw the ball too much.
You're right. What about Mixon? What about Joe Mixon?
They throw the ball too much.
Najee Harris.
Maybe 1.5.
Maybe Najee Harris. Because they don't even do that with Cleveland. They split. They running back.
They splitting those backs. You see, I'm with you on this one. The only difference is it's a guy that you're going to get a steady diet of is King Henry. Everybody else is running back by committee.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, 2.5. I'll give you those 2. And why is this interesting? They're both in the AFC. 2 of those guys are in the AFC. That's crazy. In the old days, the NFC used to be full of great running backs. And if you wanted to win the NFC East, if you didn't have a great running back, guess what, buddy? You weren't winning that division. Because they came to strap it up and play. You're going to play against my offensive line and my back. That's what you got to stop. First and foremost.
Tony, let's look at the team that struggled in week 1. The Dallas Cowboys, they struggled in week 1. But do we know that Ezekiel Elliott had 10 carries for 52 yards, which he's running at a 5.2 yards per carry clip? So
he should have had 30 carries.
Right. So why are we not giving the ball? It was a close game.
Because he's trying to look cute. Kellen Moore is always trying to. These young coaches are trying to look cute and, like you say, be the face. When they're outthinking themselves, folks, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
It feels like me talking to the people at Virginia Tech who ain't giving us no free tickets for games. Ex-players. That's what it feels like. It's not that hard. To do the right thing is not that hard. And people try to make it all complicated. I'm sick of it. I mean, I'm not giving them no credit. No more.
Why is pro football gone to this? Is it the rule changes that have protected quarterbacks? They're protecting wide receivers. You see, defenseless receivers. So now you can get those dig routes. Guys can take a dig route now, and they don't have to worry about a Sean Taylor. They don't have to worry about a Troy Polamalu. There is no Ronnie Lott. You see what I'm saying? I've always felt this. When you see that thumper, that safety, that guy that comes in, he's going to separate man from football. He's got to, exactly. And them gator arms, them alligator arms. People trying to catch a football like this. Look, that guy isn't there anymore. You see what I'm saying? That guy's not allowed to do. That guy's not allowed to play that way anymore.
The NFL wants to get cute. They want to put a lot of points on the board. They want this high profile. But at the end of the day, when you look at a team, and we could talk about Tom Brady's 7 championships, they ran the football in all 7 of them.
Yep.
Don't make no mistake. If you go back and look at Antoine Smith, if you go back and look at Corey Dillon, if you look at Fournette, those guys toted the rock and they controlled the line of scrimmage. Even if you go back to when Philly won, they controlled the line of scrimmage. Matter of fact, Philly may have had the best offensive line in football that season, perhaps. With Kelce at center, they had Lance Johnson, and they had my guy Jason Peters. So they probably had perhaps maybe the best offensive line that season. Even
couldn't get it done.
Kansas City ran the football. Like, you're not going to get Baltimore. They hung their hat on running the football. And guess who? It looks great in the regular season. Buffalo gonna look fantastic in the regular season.
They should. And if they can do the heavy lifting during the regular season and then not choke in the playoffs, it would be an amazing thing. Hey guys, this is the TD Report. I'm David Combs with Jody Coleman and TK, Tony Kennedy. We have got about 15 minutes before kick, before the Thursday night game. You got to talk about Brett Favre, guys. This is uncomfortable for me, and this is why it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me because of, my personal politics, my personal political beliefs, okay? But this is a personal belief, and this is something my father instilled in me. My father always told me, no matter how much money we make as a family or what we have, there's always somebody less fortunate, okay? And taking from people that are less fortunate than others is just plain wrong. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the nation. Okay, and Brett Favre now stands accused of taking money from the state's welfare system. Now, for those who don't understand what welfare is, every dollar that a working person makes, a small portion of it goes into the state coffers, into the state fund, and they utilize that to run the state's the safety net, welfare, WIC, free lunch programs. That's where it gets paid from. That is the money. That is the pool of money that Brett Favre ran that business deal through and accepted money. And then the money was also funneled into a new volleyball facility, I believe, for Southern Mississippi University. Am I wrong? Southern Mississippi. Excuse me. Southern Miss.
Yeah, that's where he went.
And that's where Brett Favre went. So the question is this: number one, why isn't Brett Favre writing his own damn check out of his pocket? Why does the money have to come from the state? These are people that need this money. And by the way, there are people in Mississippi now drinking brown water. Okay? There's something so inherently wrong with this. It's almost like something out of Dickens' novel of how cruel somebody that has money can be. I'm going to step off from this. I don't want to be too far on my soapbox. I'm going to let you guys talk about it. But I have a feeling you think I'm right.
Well, you know what? Dave? I'm a kid that grew up on, and we needed welfare. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I'm from the projects. If anybody watching from Dayton or all across the country ever heard of Parkside and Hilltop, that's where I grew up at. And we needed every penny. We needed every piece of assistance. We needed. So then I worked for the county here for about 7 years, children's services to be exact. So when I see anybody taken from people that really need it, I lived in the trenches where people really needed it. I lived among people that needed it. So when I go back and I look at what Brett Favre doing, somebody that made millions of dollars playing this game, to have to fraud, I believe he need to be. And I'm a big Brett Favre fan. But I'm also a fan of humanity. And when somebody can do that with the way that he's done it, I truly believe that he needs to be prosecuted to the extent of the law, and also fines need to be in place. And I'm not passing judgment because I don't know everything exactly. Everything hasn't came out. We just getting the surface stuff. But as it come out, if it becomes true, Dave and Tony, I'm a guy that needed every bit of welfare, food stamps, living arrangements, Title 20, whatever we needed it as a family. I'm one of 5, and we didn't have a father around. So when I see you take it from a family, and my mom having to go work at a job that makes $4.25, and she had to walk there, and I see you making millions upon millions of dollars, and you taking it from those people from Mississippi, when we know that they're at the average or one of the lowest poverty-ridden states in America, I have no sympathy for you. And if you get prosecuted to the highest extent of the law, I have no remorse for you.
Good stuff, Jody. Go ahead, Tony.
Me, if he's guilty, Brett Favre should be removed from everything, man. You don't take from people. He done made over $100 million, man. I mean, what are we doing here, man? I lost all respect for Brett Favre. All. After that comment he made last year, where now his players are throwing him under the bus. And then to double down with this crap, I'm done, man. I'm just done, man. It's poor people needed stuff, and he took from them when he already had.
I find what he did, Tony, I find what he did morally offensive. You see what I'm saying? It's literally like a blind man with a cup that wants money in his cup, and you come by and you take money out the cup. That's literally what Brett Favre did. It's beneath contempt. There's a lot of things politically in this country right now swirling around. You've got the governor of the state of Florida who used $20 million to fly 50, illegals from Venezuela and flew them to Martha's Vineyard and just dropped them off. Okay. I mean, That's human trafficking. That's human trafficking. These people did not speak English, everyone. They didn't speak any English. They thought they were going to be taken to Boston. They were lied to get them onto the airplane. They thought they were going to be taken to Boston, given asylum, and given a path to citizenship. What did you expect them to do? Not take the opportunity? And they just dropped them off in Martha's Vineyard. They had no idea where they were. The people of Martha's Vineyard, the year-rounders that are there, the residents that live there year-round, not the vacationers, have taken people in. They've mobilized their churches, social services groups, help groups to feed these people, get them housed. Some of these people hadn't eaten in 12 hours. And these are women and children, by the way. And these are families, okay? So when I see this type of abject cruelty from people who claim to be Christian, it really bugs me. As someone that sent his child to a Catholic school because he needed to understand that charity begins at home, but you're at this good Catholic school, you have to do community service. I don't care if you don't want to do it. You do it because we have to. As Catholics, when I was in Catholic school, we were we were working for Martha's Table. We were out at So Others May Eat because we were able to get these great things from the city of Washington, D.C. We were the fortunate ones. Our job was to be out here in the streets helping people. This is what our politicians should be doing, is helping people. This is what people like Brett Favre should be doing. Leader in the community, someone that everybody knows. He should be helping people. He shouldn't be taking from them. I just see this type of thing happening. It just makes me sick. We've talked a lot on this show about what we as Black men need to do in our communities, whether it's mentoring kids, whether it's doing like Mike Tomlin did. You see a couple of kids doing some things maybe they shouldn't do. Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, did something very dangerous. One of those boys could have had a gun and pulled it out and shot him. You just don't know. But he broke that fight up and said, hey, guys, you shouldn't be doing that. And then brought them into Pittsburgh camp so that they could spend some time with the players. He did something good. You guys do great things in your community. Tony has helped. I don't even know if we can put a number on it, Tony. Tony must have helped at least 50 kids get college scholarships that the teams otherwise would not have seen if not for his games, where scouts were coming to see Tony's teams play. You've done a lot of great stuff in your community, not just working for the county and children's services. You do things out of the kindness of your heart. And that's what's important to understand. It's, the way that we treat our own community and the way that we treat ourselves and the expectations we have as men and leaders of our communities where we live. If I were back in Prince George's County, and Tony will tell you this, if I was back in Peachey County, I'd probably be coaching a soccer team somewhere, recreational soccer or basketball, or, working with kids and helping them with their homework. That's what I would be doing, and I just don't see, I want to see more of that from us. And I know each of us has made a pledge to do it. But somebody's got to make up for this Brett Favre thing, man. These need to see some good people out here.
And the NFL is I think the NFL is one of those leagues that tend to come and try to help out after the fact. I feel like they're more proactive than they are active on situations. So now they see this, and now you're gonna see all these foundations in place. But the NFL has the power. They're the most powerful entity in all the sports. The NFL. The NFL.
No question.
They can control what they want to control. And I don't want to put all the burden on the NFL to change the world. I'm not going to do that because it's everybody. It's me. It's you. We got to clean off our own porch before we can go help somebody else on theirs. And I believe that, where I come from, I've done something, but I'm not going to pat myself on the back because it's not about me. I did it, or whatever I do in the future is not because I want to be, oh, look at Jody, look at Dave, look at Tony. We're just these great individuals because it seems fake to me. I don't want it to ever be we doing this because we trying to launch this show or we trying to big up ourselves. I don't want none of this. I don't want any reason. I want to do it because it's the right thing to do, Dave. I want to do this, and it's coming. It's coming from an emotional standpoint because it is kind of emotional that I'm thinking back because I just landed a new job.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. I'm making a nice amount of money, more than what I made at the other place. And I know what it was to not have nothing. I know what it was to be home. I was homeless. Let me go ahead. I was homeless. I was living out of my car. Just 10 years ago as an adult, I was making less than $1,000 a month. Put that in perspective. I'm making less bring home less than $1,000 a month. So when I see somebody taking from somebody that don't have, I'm sorry if it come out a little bit emotional, but I have no remorse for that because I seen the home. Y'all live in the DC area, so I know y'all see the homeless people out there. Y'all see the real live homeless people out there.
And it's getting rougher, Jody. It's getting rougher with this because the economy has gotten so tight. It's, when you raise the food prices 20% for people that have a full-time job that are making a decent wage, okay, I have to pay a little extra. Okay. But if you were barely getting by to begin with, and they're going to hit you again, you're saying now you're basically snatching food literally out of their mouth or out of their child's mouth. I look at how my mom brought me up. My mom used to clean houses. That's what she did. She was a domestic. And one night, the lady that she was cleaning for was having a dinner party. So she bought one of those big couple of party platters, with sandwiches on it and everything.
Yeah.
And my mom, she told my mom, just take the sandwiches home. I'm not going to eat them all. So when I brought them home, my mom brought them home, I didn't want to eat them. And my mom was like, are you out of your mind? She was like, these are good sandwiches. She's like, I served these to people. Don't worry, nobody touched them. She said, you shouldn't be too proud. Okay. You shouldn't be too proud. It stuck with me, guys. I was 8 or 9 years old. And my mom was like, you would literally starve yourself to death and you're too proud to eat this food that was given to us. Take this food. So whenever I see people take from people that don't have anything to begin with, that were given something like Mississippi's social service net, there's their social security net that they have for the indigent, people that don't have anything, it does offend me. It offends me. Brett Favre is more than likely going to go to prison. Look at Clinton Portis, what he did. Clinton Portis did something very similar. He stole from the NFL Players Association out of their retirement fund. Okay?
So he was stealing from the rich to give to the rich.
He was stealing from the rich to give to the rich. But get this, the United States government, the federal government wants to send him to federal prison. Now, some guy, I think it was Rashay Caldwell, I think that's dead, right? Rashay Caldwell that used to play Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Tampa Bay.
But he was found guilty. He would have been found guilty too. If he was alive, he would have gone to prison. You see what I'm saying? And we're not talking about the county court. We're talking Fort Leavenworth, buddy. We're talking federal prison, penitentiary. You don't want to be in federal prison.
No, okay? Don't nobody want to be in federal prison.
No, sir. That is not where you want to be. You want to be in an air-conditioned office, making a salary that you wish you were making more, but not breaking rocks at Leavenworth.
Hey, Dave, we want to make sure everybody knows tonight is the first night of the biggest experiment with Amazon. The game is on Amazon. They paid how much? $30 billion. How much did they pay for the Thursday night? $30 billion or some crazy stuff like that. So when all these folks who talked about the Kaepernick knee and I'm going to boycott, you full of shit. Because look at all the stuff that's going on.
Tony, the NFL is healthy as a horse. What are you talking about?
Listen, Tony, they listen. America likes to be a surface type of place and be mad at Kaepernick. They're mad because Ariel is black. Stop it. They mad at Ariel is black. He's a cartoon character. Y'all got everybody else. We can't get one person to be black. Oh, they're changing how the story goes. Man, I don't care. It's a cartoon. If I got a coloring book, I can color my person whoever I want to color. That's America for you, Tony.
Hey, man, it's a crazy world out here. But one thing's for sure: Americans gonna watch football.
They're gonna watch football.
They're gonna watch
football.
Listen, your boy Roger Goodell is giggling his ass all the way to the bank. They tried to kill this league. Look, when the CTE thing happened, people were trying to kill this league. They were trying to outlaw football. They were trying to deregulate football out. Not going to happen, buddy. No, sir. Football is as strong as it's ever been.
Roger Goodell, we want you on this show. You talk to me for 15 minutes. I want to get you on the show and ask you the real question.
Roger Goodell it's like being in a battle royal and he's in the middle of the ring. Everyone's been trying to take the NFL down and they can't do it. I mean, the NFL is bigger than McDonald's. It's bigger than Coca-Cola, bigger than Microsoft, bigger than Amazon. And now Amazon and the NFL are trying to get in bed together. Isn't that crazy?
It's bigger than Walmart.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's saying something. Oh, well, wait a minute. Walmart's in the league now. They own the Denver Broncos.
That's true. And so just imagine they had to come into the league. You understand? So they can't be bigger than the league if they had to come into a league.
Hey, let's talk about one more thing before we get off, guys. Shout out to the NBA Steph Curry for signing a $1 billion deal, lifetime deal with Under Armour. Hey, listen, like I said on my Facebook post, ain't nobody too cool for $1 billion.
Hey,
I ain't mad at Steph Curry.
Hey,
make fun of him all you want. $1 billion? God, everybody in the black community is talking about generational wealth. That's generational wealth. That's it right there. Okay? Money isn't everything, but it sure keeps the kids calling home.
But you know what, Dave? The beauty of what I seen from that, and I seen that you tagged me and I about busted out laughing, because you know what's cooler than $1 million? $1 billion. So
that's right.
But my thing is, we talking about a kid that wasn't even heavily recruited. We're talking about a kid that was supposed to be undersized. We're talking about a kid that, you know, the stigma for the light-skinned kids. He's not tough. He got bad ankles. Only why they even looking at him because of his daddy. And now this kid, years later, is 4-time champion and is worth over $1 billion. So anybody that's watching the show that got a young kid that's struggling and thinking that nobody's recruiting them, take your Davidson, take your Troy, take your Marshalls, and you work your butt off. And you make a decision.
Hey, listen, that was great stuff, Jody. I will say this about one more thing about Steph Curry, and this is all due respect. His wife ain't half bad looking either. So kids, work on that jump shot.
Oh,
just make sure
Holly Berry told me that she gonna DM you. So
hey, DMs is always open for Halle Berry. Yes, sir. Hey, tell Halle Berry that The Program is my favorite movie because she was in it.
Right.
I didn't even care about the football part. I just wanted the parts with the Halle Berry in it. That's like just fast forward.
And all you had to do was pause it when she get on there. But
that's right. Hey guys, I want you guys to enjoy the game. Text me after the show. I'm going to be watching the Amazon Prime team tonight. I'm excited about this. But listen, it's NFL football. What are you going to do? Hey, everybody enjoy the games this weekend. Sorry if we didn't get to a segment on the show. We're going to have a Monday morning quarterback show next week. We're definitely going to get Tommy on here, get Dev on here. Dev, I think, has a game this weekend, so good luck to Potomac this weekend. Friday Night Lights.
We're taking you up to the kickoff time.
Hey, I want to start. Can I have a post? You know, a parting way. I've been looking up at the 5 quarterbacks that's in their second year, and the most points that was scored from a quarterback was Trevor Lawrence with 22. These quarterbacks are going to have to complete more passes. They're going to have to be more efficient in their offense, and I'm meaning Mac Jones. I'm talking about Justin Fields, Davis Mills, Trevor Lawrence, and Trey Lance. They have to get better from week 1 to week 2. So when I come back and talk about this again, I want to see a better performance out of these guys because I think they have all the tools. They just going to have to make the plays.
Justin Fields got a W this weekend, though.
Yeah, but they struggled.
The Cowboys got to fight for their life.
He was 8 for 17 passing, which is only 46. I'm sorry, it was only 47.1% completion percentage. Yeah. He only had 121 yards passing. That has to be better.
But he didn't get killed out there.
No,
that's important. He's got to stay safe.
So I'll be back. I can't wait till Monday.
Excellent. Thanks, Jody. What you got for me, Tony, before we get out of here? It's your show, man.
I got Patrick Mahomes going off tonight. Showing you why he didn't need your boy.
Tyreek Hill.
I do think they're going to run a lot more so that they can keep that pass rush at bay.
All right. You've heard the word here on the TD Report. For Tony Kennedy, for Jody Coleman, I'm your host, David Combs. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the game.
Peace.
Get some wins in here. Let's go.
Peace out.
Peace.
See you guys. See you Monday night, man. All right. Bye-bye.